5-star wrestling ReGenesis. You know, for the past few years when it comes to wrestling games, the most popular have been the WWE games. We did have TNA Impact, the video game, back in 2008, and while it had incredible graphics that still hold up today, sadly, the gameplay, story mode and creation suite were the source of this game's demise. Not having a good story mode and creation suite is one thing, but if your gameplay sucks, that's a very bad thing. Let's not forget that Lucha Libre game we got back in 2010. While I liked it for a while, it just wasn't that good enough for me to say, hey, make more of these games. So once again, I was stuck with only WWE games. I'm not saying WWE games are bad, they're one of the best games of all time, such as Shut Your Mouth, Here Comes the Pain, SmackDown vs. Raw 7, and so on. But it would be nice to see a variety of wrestling games out there, at least on the PS4, or a next-gen console in general. Anyway, this all leads me to 5-star wrestling ReGenesis. Now, I believe this game was also on the PS3, and this is a remastered version. I guess that's obvious though, since it is called 5-star wrestling ReGenesis. I haven't played the PS3 version, so I have no idea what the difference is between the two versions, and I have no desire to make an effort in seeing the difference. So whatever I talk about in this review, it's all from ReGenesis. I wasn't going to buy this game at all and just skip it because of the reviews I watched about a year ago, but hey, I guess my curiosity took over, so here I am reviewing it. ReGenesis was developed by Serious Parody, a small development team based in Scotland. I checked their site out and I saw that they created a wrestling manager game back in 2011 for the iOS. You know, I haven't seen many wrestling manager games, so that's something different. I also read that they're currently working on a major console game, so if you want to stay updated on that, the link to their site will be in the description. I already had an idea what this game was going to be like before playing it, and that is a low-budget indie wrestling game. And looking at the menu only proves that. I've seen main menus like this so many times in wrestling games that it's just whatever. It's acceptable. You won't find any creation tools, there is none of that in this game, so if you wanted extra people in there, I'm afraid you cannot do so. Plus with the tiny roster, creating more wrestlers would have helped a lot, as it only has 8 wrestlers. Even if this is an indie game, I still think 8 wrestlers is a bit small. Sure, you can unlock other attires for each wrestler, but all it is a different color palette. It really doesn't help much. There is a tutorial, and the buttons will appear in a box in which you copy it, and you'll either see a tick or an X in a small box. If you get it right, you'll get a tick, but if you mess up, yeah, you get an X. And you have to try again. Honestly, as far as tutorials go, it works well. There is no story mode, which I also expected, but there are these challenges you can do, which gets you trophies. Plus it unlocks attires, arenas, and match types. Really overdone and typical stuff really. You play a match and will have 3 objectives to do, plus it gives you an hour to do so, and you gotta pull off a 5-star match. Get it? Because it's 5-star wrestling ReGenesis. Very clever. I can't say it was worth going through though, as there was nothing on there that I really wanted. I didn't care if I unlocked them or not, which is not exactly a good thing.
Your first competitor from Columbia, South Carolina, weighing in at 220 pounds, Black Party!
Each entrance you see in the game lasts around 5 to 7 seconds. Yup. That is shorter than an entrance in TNA Impact, the video game. If you're going to make each entrance last like 5 seconds, don't bother with it at all. Now for the gameplay. Oh boy. Well, let's begin with the submission and pin system. You do the same thing with both of them. You mash all the buttons to either break out of a submission or a pinfall. In a submission, you'll see both sides on this meter. If you end up on the left, you lose, but end up on the right and you'll break out of it. This has been done before and it's nothing new, so it wasn't anything new or different to me, but it's actually the most professional addition to the gameplay. Everything else? Well, evidently this game is not a realistic, simulated wrestling game, and that is fine. I don't need every wrestling game I play to be that way. But man, when I played this game for the first time, there were a bunch of problems from the get-go. I couldn't believe how clunky it was. Everything from animations to a simple walk around the ring looked very unpleasant. I wasn't expecting such an unresponsive and glitchy experience even in the first few seconds of my match. Grappling can be a pain in the ass to pull off, as your guy will either clip through his opponent or not respond at all. so I had to press circle a second or third time to grapple. Irish whipping can also be a pain, as directing your opponent doesn't work every time, and I found myself having to redo it more than I preferred. Essentially, the easiest stuff to pull off can be pretty difficult, and I don't know if it's the controls or the animations, probably both, but yeah, it all plays and looks bad. There's nothing to do outside of the ring either, and you simply have to use your imagination, I guess. And there's no referee. All you see are these numbers on the screen, along with his voice, which doesn't bother me, but I would have liked their own version of the commentary team at least, just to add more life to the gameplay, because everything just feels dead and shallow. I mean, it's a parody, right? Why not have a parody team of JR and King? Or, hell, even Cole and King. I don't know. The crowd doesn't help much, as there isn't much cheering going on. And I'll finally say it. This game is broken, and I severely regret buying it. I have no desire to play it again, and I actually want to forget that it even exists. The animations, getting around in the ring, jumping off the turnbuckle, springboarding, whatever you do in this game, none of it looks good. It's very glitchy, along with major clipping problems. There were times I would be on the apron, and he would magically appear back in the ring. Even lying on the ground can make my guy magically stand up in the blink of an eye. Playing 5-star wrestling ReGenesis simply doesn't feel good. It feels horrible and made me frustrated more than anything else. I don't think playing with a friend will make it better either. I think it will just end up with two people really pissed off or laughing really hard at how dumb this game is. Personally, I don't want to laugh. I just feel angry, frustrated, upset, pissed off. And you know, I've went through my fair share of shitty wrestling games in my life, but this really takes the cake. Honestly, I can't believe this is even allowed on the PlayStation Store. This shouldn't be allowed to the public at all. This should be banned and forgotten about forever. Would I recommend this game? Hell no. Stay away from it. And if they do make it free, stay away from it. Just pretend it doesn't exist. This has been a disappointing wrestling game, and I regret buying it. I shall see you next time, but for now, please, take care!